Today we're going to be making some brown paper bag Easter baskets using what I have on hand. Okay, you're going to start with two regular lunch bags. I cut 2 inches off at the top to go along with my graphics, and you'll find them on the blog. You're going to open one bag, put the other bag inside flat, and then open it. Just makes it easier to snuggle it inside. Once you get that done, you got to carefully fold the top over twice to make a hem. This is quite easy to rip, so you want to do it carefully and slowly. That's why I don't put the graphic on until later. That way if it happens to rip, it's easy to start over. Here's our first fold. We'll do it twice. Now we're going to hole punch it on each side. So I've made these two graphics for you. You can download from the blog. I actually use some that I bought at Temu. I hadn't thought to make any first of all for you. So anyway, I use these. It works the same way. Okay, you just fold them over at the edges after you print them and cut them out, or buy the ones from Temu. I'll put the link inside the blog post. Then I'm going to take some craft glue. You can use any kind you got on hand. You can use stick glue, spray on glue, white, just regular white craft glue. Put it on. I suggest doing a test fit like that first, taking it off, spraying it, adding the glue, and then putting it back on. Now, if it doesn't adhere here, mine did, but if yours doesn't adhere here, just use some hot glue to stick it back on, or some double-edged tape where it's giving you a problem. I put it on the outside and then use my hand to smooth it, and then recrease the edges. Okay, I actually made two, one for each daughter, so I'm going to shorten this down. There's the two of them, and now we can go ahead and start embellishing. So we're going to grab some paper wire, paper covered wire, in order to make the handles. We'll cut the wire 30 inches long, and then we're going to fold it in half, connect the loose ends, and then wrap it together to give it strength. And we do need 30 inches for each basket. Okay, then you wrap it together, and we're going to, once you got it all together like that, you fold it in half to find the center, and then I hand formed a simple little heart at the top like that, twisted it to hold it in place. Give it a little bit of shape. See those two ends? We'll use them into the baskets at the end. So set that one aside. I quickly repeated it for the second one. And I'll set that one aside. So the first thing I decided to do was put some lace around my bag. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put it on top or underneath. It looked pretty underneath, but see, I didn't like the way it covered the rabbit's face. So then I had to put it over top. So I started with just a little dab of glue there, and then I glue it at each corner and along the top. I should have had my finger protectors, but I didn't. And then I went all the way around the top like that. I'm going to speed the video up here in a second or two. Just along the sides and the top on every corner. When I got to the back, I just overlapped it a little bit and then glued it in place. So I went around and I gathered some different bits and bobs out of my craft stash to try and make a layered messy bow. And all I did was I looked through whatever I had on hand and I pulled things that matched the colors from the printable. So I had some raffia I used. This here is a 1-inch green ribbon. It was too wide, so I cut it in half and I put a couple of them in there. You can use string, you can use bits of fabric. I had a thin white ribbon, a pink ribbon, brown ribbon. I even had a wide yellow ribbon I put on and then didn't like it and took it out. So just kind of play around with what you've got in your own stash. Once you get it done, put it together, tie it in a knot in the middle like that. And then I took and I dug around. I decided to put some buttons in the middle. You see those flowers? That was something else I thought about. Changed my mind. But you can use them. Okay, I glued the messy bow to the top of the bag, and then I went ahead and I made a second bow for this first basket using just raffia. So now I'm going to glue that on top of the messy ribbons. Hold it to just let it cool for a couple seconds. And finally decided on this simple white button. The second one I did something a little different. There's all my odds of ribbon and fabric and twine all together. And then I used a piece of twine and I made a nice bow with the twine and put it on top instead of using raffia this time. Here I am attaching the bow, very similar, just messy bow to the second basket. This time, instead of embellishing it with a button, I think this is a Dollar Tree flower. It's just paper. Put that in the corner from my stash. Then I used the scissors to trim all the ribbon to length. I didn't want any of them longer than the bag. Now I have a old hair straightener and I like to use it to iron ribbons with. So there you are, I ironed the twine with it to flatten it, and now I'm going to decorate the top. To do that, I just glued a little blue flower that matched the paper color of the paper flower on the bottom. And then you'll see here I just tie a simple raffia bow around the top. It makes the two baskets similar but not identical. So now what you're going to do is right at the end, you're going to see here where I use the hot glue to hold the end of the wires in place. I just folded them through the hole there, give them a good sized blob of glue, and then squeeze them close. I have these long fake nails, so I use them, but I really recommend grabbing some finger protectors for that. Okay, then I glued it on the inside, and basically that's all there was to it. Happy crafting!